and know how it feels like. I think at least now he's got an idea of what it feels like to go around guys like Andy DeGrasse, who can run bad times all year, but be able to manufacture the results when it comes to the big stage. So it's all good. And again, it rained. It rained in Oslo. As Mati told me, he's not even raced in rain before. So you can imagine when the athletes were complaining about the rain and all.
Another bit of experience for him, yeah.
Yes, big experience, because you never know what's going to happen. It can rain, anything can happen. You have to adjust. So I say that in terms of what he would have loved to do, maybe not conquering the bit, but in terms of the bigger picture, it's a big conquer, because he had to get experience and he has it.
Okay, so what happened in the race was that Azamati finished 4th behind Andre DeGrasse, Akani Simbini of South Africa. DeGrasse is Canadian, and Reese Prescott in his first Diamond League race. Afterward, he spoke to George, and this is what Azamati said.
It was good competition for me, I wanted to come out here to just feel the experience. Going into the big meet, that's the World Championship. I feel I had a slow reaction, and everybody could see that, and I think that caused everything. But then I'm going to work on it. I think the false start or whatever, the fallback messed me up a little bit, but overall I got 4th. I think it's good. I mean, now I have a feel of how it is. So on to the next. I'm going to Paris next, and I feel like I'm going to do well there.
Yeah, George, before we come to, his reaction to this, I mean, you've mentioned it already. The BBC's Ade Adedoyin, who is an athletics buff and follows all the major competitions, also spoke about Azamati as well. Before we play what he had to say, what were the reactions of people who were watching Benjamin Azamati, at close quarters? How did they measure the guy?
Yeah, so everyone I've spoken to about Azamati agrees he's a fantastic athlete. If you're doing sub 10, 100 meters, you are a fantastic athlete. Even in the problems that he faced in this particular race, he had a very poor reaction to it. All of a sudden, at about 70 meters, if you listen to the commentary, you realize the commentator was mentioning Azamati because he looked like he was almost head to head with Andy DeGrasse, and then he started to drop, and Andy DeGrasse picked up and won the race. So there is every indication from everyone I've spoken to that he's a fantastic athlete. However, they are talking about how he's going to bridge the gap between coming to a world championship and being excited because you are there, and coming to a world championship or a big meet and believe that it is your stage. That is the level he needs to graduate into, to grab the stage and do what he can do with it. That is actually what everybody's looking forward to. And it's not a strange disease. It's a disease that every one of those athletes, had in the start. Akani told me that, look, in his first 5 Diamond League races, he was all over the place. He was trying his best. He knew he could run, but anytime he came around the big guys, it was difficult to really put him there. So a great athlete, wonderful potential, but it's now up to him to put all these wonderful experiences right under the belt and make them work, that all the important lessons are picked actually begin to show. And so it'll be interesting to see what he does today. It'll be too early to say that an experience that you gained 2 days ago can quickly affect what you do today. But yes, I'm sure there are 1 or 2 things on his mind and he'll be able to go through it. So basically, fantastic athlete, but how does he become the global icon and do it on the big stage consistently?
As has been said in the NBA about, some of the players that they are stars, but not superstars. Maybe Azamati has to graduate from being a star to being a superstar. Let's hear from the BBC's Ade Adedoyin.
It's very, very difficult to make that transition from being a talented youngster to competing on the circuit and doing it regularly. I think even Usain Bolt said this. He was a phenom, Usain Bolt, as a junior athlete. When he made the transition to the senior ranks, it took a few years to get used to it. It's not, remember the World Championships or Commonwealth Games, it's not about a one-off race. It's about going through the rounds. It's about dealing with the pressure, the expectation. You're competing on a higher stage. And it's that kind of experience that you need, I think, to gather before you see the full potential. Clearly, he's very talented. If you're running sub 10, you've got talent and you're good enough to be there. But what you need is the experience of doing it on the circuit, doing it at high level, doing it when you've got Andre DeGrasse next to you, or doing it when you've got Akani Simbini on the other side. It was interesting when I spoke to Simbini. He said he was in one race where Justin Gatlin was on one side, Usain Bolt was on the other side, and there's a lot of stress. But the more you do it, the more you compete at that level, the more you get used to it. And that's the same thing as regards your man. Definitely got the talent, but the more he competes at this level and meets like the Diamond League, the more experience he will get. And then when you line up on there, you don't feel like you're glad to be here. You feel like you belong here. And once you develop that kind of mentality, success then comes.
The BBCs are there. They're doing summing it up very nicely. Let's remember that Benjamin Azamati ran at the Olympics beside Johan Blake. And in the interview afterward, he did admit that he had suffered nerves. The stage had overwhelmed him. And we heard again that it happened to him in Oslo a couple days ago. So today, he runs at 5:19 p.m. or 5:20 p.m. in Paris. George, what should we expect from our man? More nerves?
Well, we'll see how he deals with it, but I hope that it's a better performance from what we saw. He won 10:15 seconds in Oslo. Hopefully, he'll be looking to run a far better time. And well, I have really stuck or moved away from trying to look at the athletes' personal bests or the great times they have this season, and try to say that, okay, because of this is going to happen, because it doesn't really happen. The French are really tough here. Anytime they come out to compete, irrespective of whether you know their names or not, Mamadou Fall, Jeff Eroz, Aymeric Prime, these guys have run 10.31, 10.04, 10.27, 10.14, 10.03. So they can still cause an upset. In the 100 meters, Azamati clearly has the best time. He's run 9.90 seconds. It didn't count for a lot in Oslo. We don't know what will happen today. So he would be looking forward to, again, finishing in the top three. Gary, not only about Benjamin Azamati, we also have Sean Safo entry.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
All right, okay, so maybe I'll just stick with Azamati. So yeah, I expect Azamati to, try and finish in the top three. If he doesn't finish in the top three, good experience under the belt. It will be enough to go back to the US and get ready and join the national team and see how it goes at the World Athletics Championship.
All right, so let's come to Sean Safo entry, because he and Azamati are part of Ghana's relay team, that did so well in Rabat a couple years ago. And they are part of what, George, I don't want to start calling them the golden generation yet, because sometimes you
okay, they have actually gone past the golden generation, because they've broken the record. They now have a record of 4x100 meters, so they are.
So we can call them. You can call them the second golden generation.
Yes, the Baden golden generation. I'll take
that. Sometimes people say we give these young guys too much hype.
Pressure, maybe.
Yeah, too much hype and pressure before they've actually done anything super meaningful. So let's just say that they are an incredibly talented group. And he didn't run. Sean Safo didn't run in Oslo, did he?
No, he didn't run in Oslo.
Yes, so he's going to make his debut in the Diamond League this season in Paris today. What are we to expect from him as well? And have you seen him? What's his mindset? How is he feeling?
Well, yeah, I just got to Paris and I got to the stadium. I'll get to see the two of them soon.
Okay.
But I've just been looking at what Sean Safo has done this season. His season's best is 10.28 seconds. So look, he comes in. He's really in the range of the other, French guys who are here. I think he'll be fired up. He'll definitely be fired up. He's not had a lot of races. I think he did 60 meters indoor as well. He's not had a lot of races this season, but I'm sure he's hoping to pick this one up and get it going. If we have two sub-10s, you're talking about the 4x100, relay team. If we have two sub-10s, then we can get, guys who can do 10.04, 10.03. We have a fantastic team for the World Athletics Championship. So yeah, Safo would be doing his best today, and I expect him, if he can finish in the top 5 or top 4, I think it'll be great news. But just to add again, Gary, that Benjamin, after the 100 meters in an hour's time, would run in the 200 meters, and there he'll come up against Andy DeGrasse again. I will tell you a little trick. I don't know if I should tell you, but why, for instance, Andy DeGrasse is not interested in the 100 meters at Paris and interested in the 200 meters and interested in the 100 meters in Oslo and not interested in the 200 meters in Oslo. Sometimes it's got to do with the prize money. So the athletes look at it carefully and say, where should I put all the energy and make the bucks if I can? So as it stands, there's a lot of cash in the 200 meters in Paris. For that.
And speaking of cash, George, Charlie, speaking of cash, you brought us good news this morning. Benjamin Azamati has become one of the first athletes in a very long time, to be kitted by a global sportswear manufacturer as well. And ASICS, it's been in the works for a while, but today it could finally be announced. Give us the details of this and why it is significant.
Yeah, it's so significant, Gary. So it's a sponsorship deal and it's and an endorsement deal. So endorsement side with the kits and all of that, and the sponsorship deal with Azamati and his people with whichever money they are going to enjoy. And that's
so
that's
it's different.
So it's money, yeah. So it's money and
Sponsorship,
kitting, branding.
Okay.
Yeah, because you realize that for those who have gone ahead to check Novak Djokovic or Iga Swiatek or any of the guys who are on or having signed onto ASICS, you would see that for some of them it's shoes only, others is just apparel only, others is money and all of that. But Azamati is lucky to have had the sponsorship and endorsement deal for 2.5 years.
Wow.
A few complications with this because you know that he's a student athlete. The NCAA rules actually allows him to turn pro, but that means that he's going to forego competing in college athletics, and he's also going to forego the scholarship that he's had from his school, West Texas A&M. But that scholarship he's forfeiting is not a problem because ASICS is willing to take that on, and so he has no problems at all. And this will actually see his transition into becoming a professional athlete, because then you've got the money you want, you have something to try and put together a team and continuously compete in these professional leagues, and that is basically what it is. So it's important that Azamati has got this. I can tell you in the background, Gary, as well, that there are more athletes. Maybe about 2 or 3. We are likely to get some great announcements, some 2 or 3 of our Ghanaian athletes as well in this line. So I'm happy for
that's wonderful
what's
stuff.
happening here.
Wonderful
yes, great stuff, because they are doing so well, and so this is definitely going to encourage them to do it more. The second side of it, though, is that when ASICS has come around and ASICS is making you the face of ASICS Global Sprints. Now that is global. It is not Africa. Remember, we have ASICS Canada, ASICS Africa, ASICS America. This is global sprints. So there's a huge responsibility for Azamati
to perform,
to keep on what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yes, he has to keep on what he's doing and make it even better, because you are now the face of global ASICS Global Sprints. It's not an easy thing to do. And remember that they are ventured into the sprints and they decided to go into it with Azamati. That's a huge, promise, the thing that he carries. And so it's up to Azamati to ensure that this works out. So Gary, it's just here. Whilst we are talking a lot about government putting together a structure that can help those who don't get the sponsorships, it's also even great if our student athletes get into great management and the management can, punch higher and be able to get these important sponsorships and endorsement deals that will help them. So it's great stuff there at the moment.
Yeah.
So yesterday I was having a chat with Akani. Yeah. And we're talking about, his Nike and how Nike is going. So even Azamati knows that there are levels to all of this. We begin with ASICS. You do the better, and the big guns will come around.
And the big guns will come around. Yeah, you have to start from 1 to 2. But speaking about the face of ASICS or a sportswear manufacturer and franchise brings me to something very lighthearted. Yesterday we were having a space on the Joy Sports Twitter about the NBA, and some people were making arguments that the franchise player of the Boston Celtics is not a superstar, but he's only a star, and that even though he's the face of the franchise, he's not a superstar. And so we don't want that to be said about Benjamin Azamati in a year or two. Yeah, man. If you are the face, you have to lead the line and do the business. Yeah. Anyway, so George, you have about 3 hours and change to get ready for the race. No, about 4 hours. No, 5 hours actually.
4 hours. I think
4 hours. 4 hours.
Oh, you see, you are. Yeah.
It's 4 minutes to 1 here. Yes, it's 4 minutes to 1 here. So, at 5:19, the Oslo, the Bislett Games in Oslo was on SuperSport here. So I know a couple of people watched it on SuperSport here.
Oh, then they will do it again.
Yes.
I think they have the deal for the Diamond League.
Yes, they have the deal for the Diamond
League. The reason why you have to get your SuperSport and your DSTV.
Your DSTV, right? So at 5:19 or 5:20, Benjamin Azamati's Sean Safu entry will all be racing. And remind me, which of them will be running in the 100s and 200s, George?
So Azamati and Sean Safu will run in 100 meters.
Yep.
And then for 200 meters, it's just Azamati running there, alongside Andy DeGrasse and, the likes of Gardiner. And it's interesting to see this, man. It will be very, very interesting to see how these guys actually go about it, because there's some very, very interesting names there as well. For Goletin, those who have been following Goletin, that, he's going to give a lot of trouble. Mamadou Fall as well is another guy. And Luxolo Adams, the man from South Africa. So that will be an interesting 200-meter race. Let's see how Azamati goes in there. His season's best is 20.13 seconds, 0.05 seconds behind Joseph Paul Amoy said 20.08 seconds, which is a record in 200 meters.
Okay, George, thank you very much for that super update on the diamond.
I see Danny on the line.
Yeah, Daniel Odro is on the line. Yeah,
you got a chief on the line. Nananie.
So Daniel Odro will be joining us for the football leg of the discussion right now. We'll be going to that shortly. But George, you have a good time in Paris and the Diamond Leagues, and hopefully your presence will bring Azamati more good luck, and also Sean Safu entry even better luck, because today is his debut at the Diamond League and we need them to absolutely show the world what they are missing and what they are sleeping on Team Ghana.
That's right. Thank you very much, Gary. Have a wonderful show.
Okay, all right. So George Ado Jr. following the Diamond Leagues with the Ghana boy Sean Safu entry, and Benjamin Azamati was in Oslo a couple of days ago, where Azamati plays fourth, behind Andre de Grasse, Akani Simbine, and Rhys Prescott, and they race today in Paris as well. This is the Joy Sports Link on 99.7 Joy FM. We are going and segueing into under-17 and football stuff, and then we go into the Ghana Football Awards, which is partnered proudly by the Joy Sports team.
Keep the frequency clear. 99.7.
I love this station.
Keep the frequency clear.
99.7.
Right, we are just approaching, and it's 1 o'clock. I was just waiting for the second hand to hit 1 o'clock in our studios here in Kokomlemle, and so we have just about an hour to go here on the Joy Sports Link. Just gone by was some athletics chatter, and before then we did Formula One. Moving on to football, the under-17s are taking our attention following the exertions of the Black Stars in their Kirin Cup engagements. Now we are looking at the next generation of Ghanaian footballers. They started on a very difficult note in the ongoing Wafu Zone B championships, as they were beaten by the old enemy Nigeria by 4-2. At a point it was 3-0, and they came back to beat Togo by 3-0. So let me introduce Daniel Odro. He's on the line with us here. We'll talk a bit about under-17, but in a different context. And then we'll have somebody who is actually in Cape Coast, which is where the Wafu Zombi Championships are going, for a more holistic discussion. Daniel Odro, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the Joy Sports Link.
Good afternoon, Gary, and it's a pleasure to be here.
A nice one. I see you decked in your Ghana jersey already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always patriotic.
Yeah, I tell you. So, the Ghana Football Awards is, for me, the pinnacle of football awards in this country at the moment, and there's always a youth component as well. Having watched the under-17s and what they are doing there, what does it tell you about the future of having a few of these under-17s in the Player of the Year category at the Football Awards in 3 or 4 or 5 years from now?
If you look at the history of our football, the youth teams have always been the bedrock of our Black Stars. And every time that the youth teams have performed well, it kind of cascades into the national team proper. And people like myself have a strong belief that even in 2006 and in 2010, that the Black Stars did extremely well at the World Cup. It was on the back of a very successful youth tournament. And the one we can really recall is the 2010 edition, where almost half of the under-20 team that won the Africa Cup and the World Cup literally played at the World Cup. It tells you that whenever you have a very good program and there's a good conveyor belt, you are able to progress and have a certain core team that would last for maybe a decade before they begin to fade out. With the current team that Pagosi Fabian is overseeing, you would say that they didn't have the best of start. Yeah. However, yesterday they won convincingly and are into the semi-finals. I know there have been a lot of issues surrounding the kind of players, the MRI scan, and the fact that Pagosi says that 20 of his players were disqualified after an MRI scan. So he really doesn't have the full complement of the team that he trained with, which is another conversation altogether.
Yeah.
But it also brings into focus the fact that we need to pay attention to these things, because we cannot, as a country, depend solely on players who have been born outside, trained by other countries, and expect them to just walk into the national team. We need to have our own conveyor belt, and it begins from this level, under 17, under 20, and that's how you build a backbone for your national team.
Right, Daniel Odro there, taking us into the highlights of Ghana 3, Togo 0.
Ajiman Razak was waiting towards there. Yes, Apia. Now Razak back to Apia. Now Apia sends in a cross, and that's the goal for the Ghanaians. Pius Edia makes it 1-0 for Ghana. Finally, the Ghanaians
maybe potentially send Ghana into the semis. Straight away, it's Togo losing the ball in their own half, and it's that man again. We did say that he's the danger man for them, Ghana. Andrew Apia, the cutback is good, and who is arriving?
Ball cleared by Rashid. Is Razak up against Ahondo? It is Razak Salifu. He goes for goal. It's a beauty. An amazing goal from Abdul Razak Salifu.
He is in the second, finding the goal that sends Ghana through to the semis, and the host raw. It's a long ball over the top there. He's got the pace around this man, but he calms down, picks his moment, checks the ball to his right, and the effort is pure.
Ajiman has already scored from the spot. He steps up, Ajiman, and Ajiman scores as Ghana leading Togo by 3-0 in Cape Coast. It could certainly be the icing on the cake for the Ghanaians.
And again, if you like, he created the penalty himself with the.
Yeah, so those were highlights of that game. Also joining us on the line is one of the commentators of the competition in the broadcasts for Max TV, Philip Achim. Philip, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Great.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Daniel is on the line. Daniel Odro is also on the line. So
hi, Daniel.
Hi, Sisto.
Yeah, so we'll be doing this. Daniel will be coming more from the Ghana Football Award side, so I'll let him steam a bit, because there's a youth category there that we are also going to award this year, and that has consistently been awarded. But Sicho, you're on the ground in Cape Coast. Daniel mentioned in his intro that we started slowly. I know it's a cliche with the Ghanaian teams. What did you see in that game against Nigeria that we lost so badly? From the beginning, that's from the pre-match till how we played, and then the comment about the MRI and everything afterwards. What did you see about this under-17 team?
Well, I saw a team that had potential but couldn't gel properly because a lot of the players were not on the same page. And that would throw me back to what the MRI situation was. Because when you heard the manager speak after the game in the post-match conference, he did mention that a lot of 20 out of the 28 players that he had in camp and had trained with for 6 months were out of the team because of MRI. And when I was watching the game and when I was in commentary in the country watching the game, I could see clearly that the potential was there, but they were just not on the same page for a large part of that game. Unfortunately for Ghana, they played against, at the moment, I think one of the best teams in the competition, which is Nigeria, who are sharp, who are physical, who look more coordinated, and so he just couldn't cope with it, largely because they have not played together for a long time, the team. But they quickly needed to put that behind them and then rally back. So I think the whole MRI story fits into the fact that the team didn't look too prepared at match day one. And yeah, I heard Daniel say that's a conversation we can have on another day. But the truth of the matter is that really did affect how the team played on match day one against Nigeria, who, by the way, were very, very good.
And, I mean, if you look at the Nigerians, I know it's very cynical, and it's very usual for people to be cynical. I think I should say, they might look older. But if you look at, a lot of the countries are seeing the wisdom in fielding kids now. Teams that look really 17 or lower. And it's refreshing to see. Tournament-wide, that is what you see, isn't it? At least from the photos and videos and stuff we've seen. You're not seeing any suspicious stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I think that is one of the positives of this competition, where you really are looking at. There's always been that allegation of countries using players who are overaged than the age category. But there's one thing about the MRI as well. It has grades. They've got grade 4, grade 5, grade 3, if you like. Yeah. Depending upon what grade you use to measure, check on your players, that also determines the kind of players you're going to bring in. My understanding is that Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, they use grade 5 for checking their players, and Ghana apparently use grade 4. Okay. So when you look at the body composition of these Burkinabes and Nigerians and Ivorians, they look, taller and bigger than the Ghanaian players, because Ghana use grade 4. The thinking for Ghana to use grade 4, in my opinion, would be that they still want to build this team from the Wafu Championship, and if they qualify, use them through to the AFCON and perhaps the World Cup. Now the difference between grade 4 and grade 5 is that for Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire, by the time African Championship is around or the World Cup in itself is around, some of the players who got into the competition via grade 5 MRI can't make it to Africa or can't make it to the World Cup, because at that time, maybe with months passing by, they would have gone past the limits for MRI for the category.
So in
Ghana using grade 4.
Philip, in layman's terms, Ghana used a higher threshold to measure the bones of our players relative to their ages.
Absolutely, okay. Absolutely. So the thinking is that it gives you time to build this team from the Wafu to Africa if you qualify to the World Cup, whereas the other countries that use the lower threshold might have to replace a lot of the players who qualified them to Africa, maybe then to the World Cup. So there is that. But generally, you look at the talents on show and you're thinking that, they fit in the age category.
Right. So Ghana lost 4-2. I mean, there was a lot of hue and cry. Parkway Sifa even came to speak. People were worried. And then yesterday, they played against Togo and then won by 3-0. Was it as easy as it sounded in the commentary?
Well, I don't think it was. I think the game was a proper game of two halves, and that is what impressed me. I think, when you lose, when you're the host nation in Ghana, and let's not forget that these are under 17. They've never been in any international competition before, wearing the national shirt and singing the national anthem. The emotions would be there. So when you're the host nation and you've lost your first game to your rivals, Nigeria, that knocks your confidence a bit. So when the first half started in the game against Togo, they looked a bit out of place in terms of confidence, but as the game was progressing, and they gradually developed in the game. They were building the momentum in the game, and I think that the technical team deserves credit, because the way the team played against Nigeria is very, very different from the way they shaped up against Togo, especially in that second half. Against Nigeria, they went for the 4-3-3 flat, and against Togo, it was a 4-4-2 flat. It was quite different, and they shifted some players around to make that system work. So in the first half, they were a bit, the confidence wasn't there that much. They were, the crowd was somewhat not comfortable with the way the team was playing. But when they got into that second half, everything around the team changed. And I have a feeling that the technical team might have said things to them that got them more confident in that second half. And the second half, they just blew Togo away. And I was stunned by the way they handled Togo, because when Ghana played, Togo have played Nigeria, Ghana have played Nigeria. I've seen both games. Yeah. I think Togo's performance against Nigeria was better than Ghana's performance against Nigeria. So I was straight away thinking Togo could be coming into this game causing a lot of problems for the Starlets. But here we were in commentary and seeing the Starlets in the second half blowing Togo away. And it could have been, the scoreline flatters Togo, to be fair. It could have been worse for them.
Wow. A favorite exercise of all football pundits and commentators, especially in the transfer window, is to talk about budding talent and who we should look out for, So especially at under 17, for every under 17 we've had, we always like to name, and there was this guy and he's gone on to great things, and this guy who couldn't make it past, this and that. So for this team, I've seen a couple of names, but from your commentary, give Ghanaians some wicked names they should look out for the future, God willing.
Well, I think people should keep an eye on the captain, Colin Sajiman, from right back.
So
he's
for those
enterprising.
For those who will watch, what number is he wearing? So that they know
number 18. He's in the armband for Ghana. He scored twice already, all from the spot. He's a right back, but he's enterprising. When he gallops down that right hand side, it's just a joy to watch. And it reminds me of when John Pencil was in his stride and he held that right back position, and Inkum and the likes also follow through. He's just superb. His energy levels to bounce forward and support the attack and also recover in time to keep the back line in shape is brilliant. But others also deserve mention. Yakubu Adams, number 8 in the middle of the park, is also brilliant to watch. And you can also keep an eye on Baba Apiga. He's number 3. He started as a left back in the first game against Nigeria. He played as a left winger in the second game against Togo, and he was immense for them. Andrew Appiah is such a raw talent, very direct in the number 11 shirt, very direct, raw talent. You just know that he's got a potential in there. And under 17, if he's showing those qualities that he's got and the potential he's got, you can imagine what he will turn out to be when he's polished and refined from under 20 onwards.
Well, people always say that we give plaudits when they get to the national teams and we don't mention where they come from. So let me just give some additional information to what Philip has. Baba Salifu Apiga, who he mentions, is from the Africa Talent Academy. Now, if that name rings a bell, it is the same place that Ring Salisu, Mohamed Salisu came from, Africa Talent Academy. Collins Ajiman is from Benab Ajax SC as well. Andrew Appiah is from the PAC. I don't know whether they call it the PAC Academy or the PAC Academy. And then Yakubu Adams is from Cheetah FC. So these guys, this is where they come from. And if you are watching the game subsequently, the Black Starlets have qualified for the semi-finals. We are yet to find out who they will play, right? Because the Group B games have not been completed.
Yeah, we have 2 games today. All of them are happening at the same time. Niger will play Benin at the Indum Stadium, where Cote d'Ivoire will play Burkina Faso. Niger are out of the competition, but Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, all potentially could be eliminated. I mean, one of them will join Niger, but we are not sure who goes through, because it is possible that all of them in Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Benin finish on 6 points, because Niger could very much be the boogie side. When that happens, the number of goals scored for a team is going to be used to separate them. So we don't know. We have no idea who plays Ghana in the semis or who goes through from Group B.
Nice one. So just to give a recap of the tournament as well, the Group B had 4 teams and Group A, that's Ghana's group, had 3 teams. Please remind us of why that is the case.
Yeah, that's largely because, in Zone B, and it's similar to what happened in the under 20 as well. In Zone B, where the 7 teams are playing at the moment in this competition, the host always gets that favor in that pot 1, and also gets drawn into 3 teams in that Group A. And then in Group B is where we have the 14 for our usual, round robin group stage games. And so that is why we've got Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Niger in one group, and then Ghana, Nigeria, Togo in the other.
Okay, and then what are the mechanics, I should say, for those who qualify for the AFCON proper?
Yeah, so what happens now is that the team that will progress into the semis, only 2 teams are going to leave Group Zone B, Wafu Zone B, into Africa. So those 2 are going to be, surely then, by now, that is the 2 finalists. So even though there's going to be the 3rd and 4th place, it doesn't really hold much. Unlike in Africa, when you get to Africa, finishing 3rd means a lot because it qualifies you to the World Cup. In Zone B in Wafu, you have to be in the final to book a ticket to Africa Championship in itself. So Ghana needs one more win, a minimum of one more win, to book a ticket to the African Championship. If they win the semis, they have a ticket, and they can now start thinking about the trophy.
Yeah, I mean, why is it important that we make it into the Africa Cup of Nations for the under 17s? Because I mean, we know that. I'm guessing that one of the reasons you are going to give us is that in Ghana, usually, if a team does not qualify for Africa, you are done.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact. It really is. I think, it's massively important that this age group will qualify. And as you said, some way, somehow, when a team doesn't qualify, we don't take proper care of the team and its players. Only one time that we pay attention to the players is when there's an agenda or there's a tournament to look forward to, like the African Championship. And you wonder, all these talents we mentioned and said they are doing well, you wonder what becomes of them if they don't progress to the African Championship. The other thing as well is that when you get to the African Championship, it throws some spotlight on the talents you've got, in the country. And it's also good for the player development, because you can count them all you want, but you can only test the training that they've had at the major competitions like the Wafu, the African Championship, and the World Cup. So the team needs to qualify so that we can keep improving the talent and keep testing our methods of grooming talent across the continent. Because in the sub-region, if you qualify, it means we are doing well. Yeah. But on the continent, if you qualify as well, it means we are good enough. Then we can test our true level at the world stage. So it's really massively important that this team gets through. And it's been a while since under 17 after the Toku group in India. We've not seen our team, progress to that kind of level. So we need these teams to also make it to Africa and subsequently hope that we get to the World Cup.
I mean, 2 more questions. First is about the technical team. Pakwesi Fabian also needs this for his own personal agenda because he's come under a lot of pressure. The last couple of teams he's led at national level have all fallen by the wayside, and he needs to burnish his credentials, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He absolutely does. I think he's under pressure. I've seen him come around the stadium to watch every game that has been played, even when Ghana is not playing, because he knows all of them are potential opponents. Yeah. And I saw him eagerly keeping an eye and taking notes when Nigeria was playing Togo, because Ghana played Nigeria before Nigeria took the pitch to play Togo, so he was taking notes, and he had the full complement of his, backroom staff as well to help him. And yesterday, what I saw was that one of his assistant coaches, Ignatius Osefosu, was in the stands. He was, sending down information on phone constantly to the technical team down there to pass on information to them on what they could do better against Togo. So I think that they know how important this is, even though they've only had this team around for now 1 month or 3 weeks. They still know that can only be an excuse, but the job for them to do is to get the points, get the result in the bag, and then keep grooming and developing these talents and get to Africa. He needs his reputation to be intact. Otherwise, he's going to come under a lot of stick and a lot of fire. You know how we do it in Ghana, especially on the media platforms. He's not going to get away with it.
I was going to say, meanwhile, Felix Romark has joined us also on the line. Felix, good afternoon. He's also a sports journalist and also a member of the Ghana Football Award, so he'll be wearing both hats on this one. Felix, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Gary.
Yeah, we've been talking about the under-17s, but Philip, before I let you go, it's not just Pakwesi Fabi who's under pressure. I saw a post about a week ago that when Ghana lost to Nigeria, I saw a post where somebody said, look at all the under-17 national team coaches. Pakwesi Fabi, in the last 2 teams he took, he didn't take them anywhere. Ignatius Fosu, who is the assistant, he can't even do anything with his Dreams FC team. They are not doing well in the Ghana Premier League. And then Wilfred Dormon, he's relegated his team.
Boy. Close to being accurate with where they were. But again, when it's come together as a national team, well, yeah, in the semis are in there. You want to, again, the question would be that, is it the right thing to do to pick club managers as national team coaches? Can they really focus? Do they have the time to devote to it? That's another topic for another topic for discussion for sure. But the fact still remains now that they are in the semis and they need to win, get one more victory to confirm or book a ticket to Africa. Is it beyond them? I don't think it is. But one important thing is yesterday when they won 3 goals to 0, I think that could be something great for them. Something great because the fans are now backing them, and I saw the fans were excited. And I'm imagining that in the semi-final, if they can get the backing of the fans, who have not seen them beat Togo by 3 goals to 0, that could also go a long way to push them into achieving something and getting into the final. So yeah, the managers are under massive pressure. The last team they've coached hasn't really gone to plan. Yeah. But here they are, the national team. They have to get the results under the bag.
Yeah, I said 2 questions. So the final one will be about the fans as well. I mean, we're watching on TV. In the last couple of games, we've seen some really encouraging attendances. Like, what's the trick? Is it that, there's been a massive push around the media in Cape Coast, or is it free gate? What's accounting for that? It's been quite positive.
I think credit to the local organizing committee, the LOC. When the tournament was about to start, they went around the media houses in Cape Coast, and every time that Ghana has a game, a day before Ghana has a game, they are visiting sports shows to remind people around Cape Coast and Elmina, Mankesim, that there is that game. And what has also helped a lot is that the games are happening around 4. So when people are leaving work, they rather want to pass by the stadium and hang around before they go home, because the game starts at 4. Yeah. Normally it's ending around 6 thereabout. So there's that time for you to come and watch the game and still go home. It's time to catch a red before the next day is to work. The farthest the games have gone is 8 o'clock when we've had 9 o'clock when they've had the 7 o'clock kickoff. Yeah. But otherwise, Ghana has always played around 4, which has helped. The other thing also would be that it's a free gate at the moment. So everybody then can troop in with their friends and the family and wherever you are just to come and enjoy the the national under 17 team play and then support them.
That's no guarantee, my brother. 3 days ago, I was in Qatar for the World Cup qualifier between Costa Rica and
Australia
and New Zealand. No, Costa Rica and
New Zealand. Okay.
And Charlie, they open free gates. Charlie, nobody come.
Boys don't come. Maybe they have to come and learn something from our LOC here. They need to visit the media houses. They need to do more promotion. Free gates in itself is not enough. Because if people don't know the gates are free, the people don't know that is even happening, they are not going to come. So they need to just take a cue from what our LOC did, which I think they did well.
Yeah. Anyway, so Philip, thank you very much for your time on the
My pleasure.
Under 17s and staying with us. And you can catch him on the co-coms of Star Times and Max TV's coverage. I mean, Philip, if you are still on the line, you can just plug it. Yeah. How can we get those games?
Yeah. So the games are live on Max TV. All the games are there. You can watch. You can also watch it on Star Times at the channel 247, or watch it on Star Times on app. You want it on the go wherever you are. You can enjoy it.
Wicked. So we'll be catching you today at today's games 4 p.m. Yeah.
That's right, 4 p.m.
Okay, all right. All the best and all the best to Team Ghana as well.
Thank you.
Atrim is with the commentary team that's producing the Wafu Zone B championships as well. Sorry. Daniel Odro is still with me. Daniel, you've heard everything Sicho said from the grounds there. Your thoughts on, what you heard?
I think Sicho makes a very good, if you like, paints a very good mental picture about what is happening and how the team started and the potential of this team, and if they are able to get their acts right. Of course, this is just the Wafu. This is just a sub-zonal, if you like, game or competition. What you really need them to do is to qualify to the Africa competition proper, where they have the opportunity to exhibit their talent further, because they played only 2 games and they are in the semi-finals. They are going to play an extra 2 games, and that will not be enough. You need to go to the Africa competition proper and to exhibit your talent. And in this day and age, football belongs to the youth. It's always been, but it's more very prominent these days. 18, 19-year-olds are running affairs in major clubs around the world, and so you are never too young, and you expect these players to do well and progress well. And like you mentioned, a lot of other stakeholders have their reputations on the line. They need to come good.
Yeah, man.
They need to come good. In fact, I saw a post in one of the groups that we are mutually on, and all the scandals that have surrounded the national under 17 teams have happened around the time Pakusi Fabian has been coach of the side. So that's something that he needs to banish himself from.
He needs to exercise that.
And, he needs to do that, because even people question why in this day and age Pakusi Fabian is in charge of our youth teams, because they are very young, if you like, modern coaches who have the ingredients to do better with younger talents. But he's got the opportunity, and when people repose a lot of confidence in you, it's incumbent on you to also repay that faith, and he knows that he needs to do that. Otherwise, the criticism will get intense, and maybe his chances of getting another national team job will become slimmer by the day.
Yeah.
So yes, you hope that this team will do well and will form the bedrock for the next under 20 side, and maybe the Black Stars in future.
Yeah, Felix Remark, our colleague, is also joining us. Felix, I know you've been following the under 17s, and we will build on that and enter the Ghana Football Awards discussion from the youth side. What have you thought of the under 17 championships as well?
Well, I think that the game I saw yesterday was an improvement of the previous game against Nigeria. I think we played better, we moved the ball faster, and we created a couple of chances, especially in the second half. So if you should ask me, I think that was a better improvement. But just as a lot of people have been saying, why is Pakusi Fabian still in charge of the team? But I don't know the reason why. And earlier on, you look at the names that you mentioned, Ignatius Fosu, you mentioned Pakusi Fabian, there is Winford Drummond, and a lot of people feel that their relationship with the FA president is getting them this kind of job. I don't want to believe so, but I believe that in all aspects of life, sometimes your relationship with people can get you the job, but as to if you can get the job done, I feel that Pakusi Fabian has had enough time and chances with the under 17 team, and maybe after this tournament or after the AFCON U17 in Nigeria next year, maybe another person can take care of the team.
Yeah, so going into the youth discussion is the Ghana Football Awards, okay? It's become the most coveted in the football space, and it celebrates footballers who have done great exploits within the year under review. It's June, meaning that it's end of season, and meaning that it's time that we look back on the campaigns around the world. Now, these players are celebrated in grand style at the Football Awards, which come off every July. By the grace of God, it's been quite consistent. This year's event will take place at the Grand Arena of the Accra International Conference Center. The pegged date is the 2nd of July. It's a Saturday. Okay. And Daniel Odro, who's just spoken before Felix remark, is a member of the committee. Felix is as well. And I think I am also a member of the Ghana Football Awards committee. And Joy Sports and the Multimedia Group are the principal media partner in that. So by way of giving us a bit of background, how great has this season been, Felix, to usher us into this Football Awards that is coming off on the 2nd of July? How great has it been for the Ghanaians in Ghana and around the world generally as compared to last year, for example?
Well, I think that this season there have been great performance from a lot of Ghanaians. You look at Amate, you look at Pate, Jiku, all of us on the international front. They've had a good season. And you look at the national teams as well. I think that the Black Princesses qualifying to the World Cup, the Black Maidens nearly book qualification, the Black Stars themselves booking a place, a ticket to Qatar, Kumasi and Kotoko winning the league. And a lot of players on the domestic front also gave us some good games in the Ghana Premier League. So you look at the previous award season or years compared to this year, I thought that this year it will be very, very tight and close in the individual categories that we are coming up with this year. So it will be keenly contested, if you ask me.
Yeah, and because we came off the back of under 17, let me start with one of the less talked about but probably most important categories or award categories in the Ghana Football Awards, which is the Odate Lamte Future Star Award. Felix Afenajan, Princess Owusu, and Clinton Dodu are up for nomination. Which of you want to touch on this category? Daniel, let me give that to you. What's the history of these awards, of this category, and how important is it? And maybe you want to touch on the nominees.
Okay, so this category has always been there from the beginning of the awards in 2018. I think Mukarama won the first edition of the awards, but in the third edition, we decided that we're going to rename or name it after Odate Lamte, who, when it comes to youth football, is, if you like, the poster boy of what a young man with a lot of potential could do. There are those who believe that he didn't reach his full potential, but it tells you he was one of the people who really excited a lot of Ghanaians when he played at the youth level. And so we decided to write him a letter and tell him that as a way of honoring his memory and his legacy, we're going to name the award after him. So at the last edition at the Grand Arena, he was present to present the award to the winner. And I think it was Ishaku.
It was
who won the last edition. It's very important to us because this is a category which is, if you like, given to athletes who are between 15 to 20 years, and if you are more than 20, you don't qualify. And these three players in Clinton Dodu is a 16-year-old who plays for Bichim United. He was not invited to Coach Karim Zito's squad, and that created a lot of brouhaha because many Ghanaians thought he had the credentials and the talents to play at the national level. But as a 16-year-old, he's really lighted up the Ghana Premier League and is the reason why he's in this category. Princess Owusu plays for Fabulous Ladies. And mind you, he's also a national team star. He doesn't play for your regular Hazakes or Ampim Dakwa, who are in the women's space very dominant. This woman plays for Fabulous Ladies, also a very good team. But for her to put up the numbers and the statistics that she's done this season is really incredible. And obviously, you talk about Felix Afenajan, who only a few months ago was playing at in school sports, and right from there goes all the way to Italy and is playing for a coach such as Jose Mourinho, who speaks very proudly of him and about his immense talent. So this category is very, very important to us. It's important to nurture, identify, encourage, and nurture young talents like these. And it's also one of the categories where you have a mixture of women's footballers or young women prodigies and also men or male prodigies battling it out for that award. And in the history of the awards, we've had female winning it, and we have males also winning it. So it tells you how competitive and important this category is.
Yeah. So a word on Felix. Let me come to you, Clinton Dodu, as well. Daniel touched on him, but a bit more on how central he's been to Bicham United's near push to win the Ghana Premier League, which didn't happen, of course, because Asante Kotoko won it.
Sure. Gary, before I come to Clinton, I think that Felix Afenajan has been nominated among the Golden Boy, one of the prestigious awards in Europe.
In the world, yes.
Up and coming. So it's in the right sense that he gets a nomination in this category as well. But talking about Clinton Dodu, I think he came to the limelight last season, even though Bicham United didn't really do well in the league. They played fifth in the league, and time this season has been so fantastic. People actually don't know the position that he plays well, because sometimes he plays in the back three, sometimes he's being played in the middle of the field. And for him, you look at how good he's been, and a lot of people question why he wasn't included in the 20 team. But for a kid who, within the course of the season, has to break and then write his BC and come back and join his colleagues in town, and he's still vying for the MTN FA Cup this season when they take on the Phobians next week Sunday. So for me, he's had a fantastic season for a young chap like him, playing over 25 games for Bicham United, and they finishing second behind Marcia Asante Kotoko. So exploit, this wasn't in doubt at all. And then when we talk about Princess Owusu, 14 years old, if you look at the number of goals that she scored in the Women's Premier League, 15 goals in 18 games, Gary. You don't see this record anywhere for a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, I think she provided 3 assists and won 5 MVPs along the way as well, and was named the NASCO Player of the Month for April also, and she's 14.
14, yes.
Great stuff. So that's for the Odate Lamte Future Star Award. Is one of the my favorite awards as well, because it signposts who we should look out for in the future. And then, of course, there are the titular awards, beginning from Home Base Footballer of the Year, which is an award for a player based in Ghana, I believe it is. And this year, the nominees are Augustine Okra, Yao Ano, Frank Etuga Mbella, and also Imoro Ibrahim. Then, Daniel, you want to go through some of the awards as well? Let me leave that to you, if you have it.
Yes. So just to clarify on the home-based footballer, I think on our social media platforms, people have questioned why a Cameroonian is part of that award. Now, the home-based footballer of the year is inclusive of foreigners who play in the local league. So it doesn't matter their nationality. Once they play in the Ghana Premier League, they are eligible to be nominated for that category. What's the category that is not inclusive or excludes foreigners is the Ghana Footballer of the Year, which is only reserved for Ghanaian players, both home and abroad. Okay. So that's a bit of clarification. Just to also go through this year, some of my favorite categories are in the women's division because of how well Ampem Dakwa have performed this season. So I'll go through the Women's Team Coach of the Year, which has Joe Nana Adakwa, who's won 2 trophies at the expense of Azakes ladies. Ampem Dakwa won the Women's Premier League. In fact, they won their zone, won the Women's Premier League, and have also won the FA Cup, I believe, in the women's division. And also you've got Yusuf Basigi. He's been around for donkey years. He's the same man who's been in charge of Azakes ladies for 16 years. I don't think any coach in Ghana has that longevity at any national side. He's been in charge for 16 years and is one of the most impressive coaches we have Hazakers may have lost to Ampem Dakwa, but don't forget that they won their division and they did extremely well in the maiden edition of the CAF Women's Champions League. And then we've got also Ben Foucault, who qualified the Black Princesses to the World Cup, which is very important. The Women's Footballer of the Year award is also an exciting category. We've got Grace Asantua of Real Betis. We've got Stella Nyameche of Dreams Ladies and Princess Owusu, who is in the Odatilamti category, also being nominated for the Women's Footballer of the Year. Very impressive from her. Also for the Goalkeeper of the Year, this is a very interesting category. We've got 3 goalkeepers there. Danlad Idrisu Abdullah of Bechem United. Danlad is with Asante Kotoko. And then we've got Jojo Wallacott, who plays for Swindon and also the Black Stars of Ghana. I know many question why a goalkeeper who plays in the lower tier has been nominated, even amongst the Footballer of the Year. But there's no denying the fact that this guy came in as an unknown quantity, managed to turn some doubters into believers, and has managed to, if you like, repay the confidence that Otoado and the likes paid in him. And even Abraham Grant, who brought him to the AFCON, and never mind that we didn't do well at the AFCON in Cameroon, but he was one of the brightest spots. And in the playoffs against...
you mean Milovan Rajevac?
Milovan Rajevac brought him in, and according to him, at the recommendation of Richard Kinson, who is the goalkeeper's trainer. And this guy comes in and does an amazing job, and also helped the Black Stars qualify to.
Let me stop you there briefly. I mean, Romak, let me come to you with this. You know, in this category, there's Danlad Ibrahim, who is a very, very known quantity because of the team he plays for. Asante Kotoko, went to Brecum, Chelsea, and came back and all that. But the name that people seem to sleep on is Idrisu. Can you please tell us a bit about the goalkeeper that is Idrisu, and why he's been so consistent, yet it seems that he's been slept on, and Felix?
Well, Gary, you look at the team he's playing for. He plays for Bechem United. And in our jurisdiction, if you are not playing for Hearts or Kotoko, you might not get the limelight.
Or a national team.
Shining on you. But for a goalkeeper to keep 18 clean sheets in the league this season, I think that we need to give him that recognition. And you look at this season, what he's done for Bechem United, it's fantastic. And I am personally happy that he gets that recognition. And one of the reasons why Bechem United haven't lost a league game this season at home is because of his performance in the Ghana Premier League. And mind you, he's played just 30 games in the league, so playing 30 games and keeping 18 clean sheets is very, very commendable. That means he keeps a clean sheet in every 2 games, and that is huge for him. A lot of people have called for him to be included in the national team. But when I spoke to him the last time we met, he said his main concentration is for Bechem United to win the FA Cup, and whenever he gets the call up, he will be there to answer. But he's a fantastic 25-year-old keeper, and I'm hoping that he gets the opportunity maybe to win it for we the lovers of the Ghana Premier League.
Yeah. So, Danny, you want to just finish the nominees for us, please?
Yes. So those 3 goalkeepers completes the list for the goalkeeper of the year. The foreign-based footballer of the year is also an interesting one. It's interesting because of one name that's in there: Thomas Partey, Alexander Djiku, Daniel Amati. All 3 of them play in the English Premier League. Sorry, Djiku plays in France, but there are 3 English Premier League players in there. And the last one is Mohamed Salisu. And I remember at the board level, at the meeting, one of the biggest arguments was whether or not Mohamed Salisu is a Ghanaian, for want of a better word. For want of a better word, whether he's a Ghanaian because of the shenanigans with which it's become with his future up in the air, especially when it comes to the Black Stars. So because he's not played for the Black Stars, questions were raised whether he was Ghanaian or not Ghanaian. Yes, it's Ghanaian. He holds a Ghana passport. So, and
guy was born and bred here. I mean, come on.
Yes. but because he's not played in the national team, it was a bit touchy whether or not he should be included at all. But I mean,
also because he holds an EU passport. But yeah, that's not really.
Yeah, so that's one of the categories that's quite interesting. And again, another category that you've got to look out for is the best Ghanaian club CEO, which is an award category which was, if you like, launched last year, and Nana Yawan won it. Again, he's in here, obviously because of how Kotoko have performed this season, both on the field and off the field. So Nana Yawan is back again amongst the best Ghanaian club CEOs. We've got Richard Dua in Centre of Samatex, and the history of Samatex and how they've qualified to the Ghana Premier League ahead of the next football season is incredible. With many games to spare, these guys are already qualified to the Ghana Premier League. And then Lord Zico completes the pack. Kingsley, his name is Kingsley, but we affectionately call him Lord Zico. And Bechem United, as you know, were very close contenders.
Kingsley Chow, I think is the name.
So there's an error there. Chow is actually the bankroller. And so Kingsley, Lord Zico, is actually the CEO of the club. So
right.
He needed to make. And so Lord Zico is the CEO. Kingsley Owusu-Echam is the bankroller of Bechem United. But they've done an amazing job so far. They are in the finals of the FA Cup, in the top 4 of the Ghana Premier League. And I think while you praise the footballers, you need to give credit to the people who work behind the scenes and have done an incredible job to ensure their teams do well. One of the categories that have gone viral and international is the best African international. And this year, some African brothers really distinguished themselves. 2 of them play for Liverpool, Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. Now, Mane is going to Bayern Munich, so I'm sure we've got to really and properly address him when he's winning the award, whether we address him as a Liverpool player or a Bayern Munich player. And then you've got Victor Osimhen, a Nigerian international, in that, completing that list. We've also got some categories that are not up for voting, like the special awards. We have the Thumbs Up Award and the Living Legend Award. And this year, we've also added a Goal King Award just to encourage a lot of goal scoring in the Ghana Premier League. And I'll leave the topmost award to Felix to run through. The Ghana Footballer of the Year award is the topmost.
Felix?
Yeah, Gary.
Yes, the Ghana Footballer of the Year awards. Who's vying for it this year?
Well, it's another tough one, but we have 5 players who are competing for it. Normally, or in the previous editions, we've had only 4 players, but a lot of Ghanaians distinguished themselves in Europe and even with the national team. So we decided to extend it to 5. So we have Thomas Partey, we have Alexander Juku, we have Daniel Amate, Jojo Wolokot in there, and then Mohamed Salisu also in there for the Footballer of the Year, which is the most prestigious award from the Ghana Footballer Award. Last year, it was Andre Ayew who won it when he was playing for Swansea. This time around, one of these 5 would pick up that crown from Andre Ayew.
Right. So we did say yes. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and I think that one other award that we brought up this year was the special fan or fan of the year. So we look at encouraging supporters to, support their team or even attend games. Because you look at attendance for games in the Ghana Premier League and even the national team, apart from the Black Stars game against Nigeria, attendance at league centers haven't been that encouraging. So we decided to create a category where we will encourage supporters and fans to go out there and then support their team. And this time around, we've nominated the Porcupine Tertiary, who were very vibrant in supporting Kotoko to winning their league title, and then the Ghana Supporters Union as well.
Okay, all right. So with that out of the way, please remind us of the details, Daniel, of the Ghana Football Awards. What are the dates people should look out for? I know it's the 2nd of July. Anything special that's happening that's going to be different from previous years and so on?
Yes, every year we decide we manage to pull something exciting for the followers and the lovers of the Ghana Football Awards and Ghana football in general. So this year we like to keep it in our pockets just so that when you come, you are able to get the wow factor. But a few things to note, and I mentioned this earlier when we did the launch, that this year the invites are going to come out as usual, but we want to control the number of people who come to the awards night. Last year we struggled with the numbers, and we had to find solutions on the spot because the numbers were overwhelming. Because of the Ghana Football Awards, let's note that the Club 100 would vote for the majority of the categories. The Club 100 consists of captains and coaches of all the national teams. They also consist of the coaches and captains of all the Ghana Premier League sides. And then you've got some other stakeholders like the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana, some selected journalists who form the ultimate club of Club 100. So 100 people are going to vote on many of the categories. There are a few categories which are for the fans to vote. So like the goal of the season, the most vibrant club on social media, the special fan award are all going to be voted by the fans. So we're going to put up the nominees on our social media handles so they can choose who they believe deserves which category. And also the special awards are voted, no, they're not voted for, they are nominated by the board.
Yeah.
So the Living Legend Award, which is an award which goes to a legend who has done an incredible job in his lifetime for the game, is nominated by the board. One person is nominated by the board, and that person is awarded on the night with a citation and a mini documentary if you want. And then we've got the Thumbs Up Award, which was won by Magdan last year. It's also for someone who is not necessarily a footballer, but a stakeholder in the sports fraternity who is doing an incredible job. And Magdan won it based on all the things he's done, the Magdan AstroTurf, which has been used by even the national teams, and all the things that he's done to support sports in this country, which is why he won it last year. So those awards are nominated by the board, and also the people are rewarded by the board. Again, note that PwC are the verifiers of the award. So after the Club 100 has voted, the PricewaterhouseCoopers are going to audit and ensure that there's free and fair voting of the process. So nobody on the board or on the committee has the power or the liberty to manipulate the votes. And I think these are very important things to note and to ensure that the voting is free and fair, Gary.
Yeah, great. Felix, any final words about this year's Ghana Football Awards that we should look out for? Any final words at all?
Well, I want to urge the invited guests to come early. It's a live TV program, so we want to make sure that we go according to the time. It's on the 2nd of July at the Accra International Conference Center Dome. So we are encouraging everybody who will be invited to make sure that you come. And then also, when you are invited and you are coming with a +1, please let us know so that we'll make a seat available for you and your partner.
And some, as Daniel said, are coming with +3s and +4s. We beg them, eh? You know.
Gary, we need to also say a very big thank you to the Multimedia Group. They've been with us the entire 4 years. This is the 4th edition.
Yeah.
We missed the 2020
2020
edition because of COVID. And Multimedia has been with us throughout the entire 4. This is going to be the 4th season. And we're very grateful to you yourself as head of the sports team and the entire Multimedia Group for always giving us the backing and the publicity that we need.
Right. Any sponsors to acknowledge yet before, or not yet, or we will sort that out later?
We'll sort that out later.
They are not on. Okay. All right. Anyway, so the Ghana Football Awards is on. It's on the 2nd of July, and we've got the nominees out and everything. So it is live usually on Joy Prime, and I'm sure it will be live on Joy Prime again on that Saturday. Felix, thank you very much for your time also, and we appreciate you being on the Joy Sports Link with us, Felix.
Thank you, Gary.
Right. And Daniel, thank you also for your time, and all the best with the final weeks of preps. I know it's never easy. You're going to have a lot of sleepless nights, but finish hard, and then probably on the 3rd or 4th of July, you can take a holiday.
Sure. Thank you very much, Gary.
Right. So this is the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM.
this station.
Show started at 12:15 after the midday news. We began with a bit of Formula One with Kwabena Poku to preview the Canadian Grand Prix. Tomorrow, you can join Labadi Beach and the crew at Labadi Beach Hotel and all the Starbites branches across the country, Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, and so on, to watch the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And yeah, it's starting at 6 p.m. Yes, that's when it's beginning. You can join the race from there. Then we went on to athletics because it's the Diamond League. And for the first time since 2005, there's Ghanaian representation. Today, Sean Safu Entry will be at the Diamond League in Paris, together with Benjamin Azamati, who has raced already in a previous meeting in Oslo a couple of days ago. He placed fourth in his race, and this is what he said about not starting well. Let's hear him again.
It was a good competition for me, I wanted to come out here to just feel the experience. Going into the big meet, that's the World Championship. I feel I had a slow reaction, and everybody could see that. And I think that caused everything. But I'm going to work on it. I think the false start or whatever, the fallback messed me up a little bit. But overall, I got fourth. I think it's good. I mean, now I have a feel of how it is. So on to the next. I'm going to Paris next, and I feel like I'm going to do well there.
Yes, as he says, you'll be racing in Paris, and that will be at 5:19 today. You can watch it on SuperSport. They have the Diamond League in Paris. George Addo Jr. is in Paris, and he sent us this from Oslo. That is when Azamati raced in Oslo a couple of days ago.
I think he's run 3 sub-10s in terms of the times he's had this season. He had a very brilliant indoor season for the 60 meters, where he ran 6.54. The 60 meters was really good. And then in the outdoor season, he ran 9.96. That was the first 9.96 seconds. And then after that, he ran 9.90 seconds, which is currently the 4th best time in the world. And then he also ran 9.86 seconds. On the night, Fred Omanyala ran 9.85 seconds. The only problem with his 9.86 seconds was there was an illegal wind of +30. And that's why it doesn't count in terms of the records. Other than that, he would have been holding the fastest or the second fastest time in the world at 9.86. So he's ready. He's ready to get going. But this is definitely not an easy stage. He would like to come here and do as much as he can.
So that's George Addo Jr. And during the race, Azamati came forth behind the likes of Rhys Prescott, Akani Simbine, and the eventual winner, Andre de Grasse, who had this to say about the Ghanaian sprinter.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. Definitely. I look forward to competing against him again at the World Championship. It's always great. I always see the Africans doing very well. So I look forward to racing against them in the future.
Also, there was BBC's top athletics correspondent Ade Adedoyin, who had this, if you like, run the rule of Azamati in this way.
It's very, very difficult to make that transition from being a talented youngster to competing on the circuit and doing it regularly. I think even Usain Bolt said this. He was a phenom, Usain Bolt, as a junior athlete. When he made the transition to the senior ranks, it took a few years to get used to it. It's not, remember the World Championships or Commonwealth Games, it's not about a one-off race. It's about going through the rounds. It's about dealing with the pressure, the expectation. You're competing on a higher stage. And it's that kind of experience that you need, I think, to gather before you see the full potential. Clearly, it's very talented. If you're running sub-10, you've got talent and you're good enough to be there. But what you'll need is the experience of doing it on the circuit, doing it at high level, doing it when you've got Andre de Grasse next to you, or doing it when you've got Akani Simbine on the other side. It was interesting when I spoke to Simbine. He said he was in one race where Justin Gatlin was on one side, Usain Bolt was on the other side, and there's a lot of stress. But the more you do it, the more you compete at that level, the more you get used to it. And that's the same thing as regards your man. Definitely got the talent, but the more he competes at this level and meets like the Diamond League, the more experience he will get. And then when you line up on there, you don't feel like you're glad to be here. You feel like you belong here. And once you develop that kind of mentality, success then comes.
The BBC's Ade Adedoyin speaking there. We also touch base on the under-17 national team who are currently in the semi-final of the Wafu Zombi Championship. They lost 4-2 to Nigeria and then rebounded 3-0 against Togo. These are the highlights if you missed it again.
Ajman Razak was waiting towards there. Yes, Apia. Now Razak. Back to Apia. Now Apia sends in a cross. And that's the goal for the Ghanaians. Pius Edria makes it 1-0 for Ghana. Finally, the Ghanaians
maybe potentially send Ghana into the semis. Straight away, it's Togo losing the ball in their own half. And is that man again? We did say that he's the danger man for them, Ghana. Andrew Apia, the cutback is good. And who is arriving?
Ball cleared by Rashid. Is Razak up against Ahondo. It is Razak Salifu. He goes for goal. It's a beauty. An amazing goal from Abdul Razak Salifu.
He is in the second, finding the goal that sends Ghana through to the semis, and the host raw. It's a long ball over the top there. He's got the pace around his man, but he calms down, picks his moment, checks the ball to his right, and the effort is pure.
Ajman has already scored from the spot. He steps up, Ajman, and Ajman scores as Ghana leading Togo by 3 goals to 0 in Cape Coast. It could certainly be the icing on the cake for the Ghanaians.
And again, if you like, he created the penalty himself with
the show today, we are coming up to 1:59 and 40 seconds. Handing over to Daryl Call for the news at 2. I'm Gary Al Smith. Thank you very much for your custom today on the Joy Sports Link. We'll be back next week with more. Nathan Alato will be taking his regular place here. You be good and enjoy the rest of our programming. After the news, of course, we'll be having lots of entertainment and showbiz. Bye-bye.
Hello, welcome to the news at 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. Coming up, a major bridge linking Cape Coast to Trefo Pass collapses, causing serious grade.